Hi guys, and welcome back to Adam's Aquatics. Today is another vlog style video. I'm going to be taking through the happenings in the fish room this week. There's been some ups and some downs, so I'm going to take you through what's happened. So this week, like you might have seen in some of my other videos, we added a couple of new tanks to the fish room, and we also filled up the 20-gallon high tank with some new fish. They're the highs of the week, and some of the lows of the week were we had a spawn from my Apistogramma cacatoides that went a bit wrong, so I pulled them a bit too early. I probably pulled them a day or two too early because they were free swimming, but they weren't fully formed, and I put them in the fry tray. And I forgot to, I think I forgot to dechlorinate the water, to be quite honest. And then none of the fry survived. Either that or I pulled them too soon. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with those guys. Another thing that happened in the fish room this week is when I was cleaning out the fry trays, I found one Apistogramma masteri fry that survived. So let's see if we can spot him in here. So he's right there. Oh, he doesn't like the camera too much, just swam off like crazy. He's just there. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus. I don't think we're going to be, there we go, he's just up here, there we go. So yeah, so I've now moved him into the breeder box, and I'm feeding him 3 times a day. And we've run out of baby brine shrimp, and what's happened is I went to one of my fish shops that's quite clinical to me, and they got this liquid fry baby plus grow food. It seems to be working okay actually. It's really just a really fine powder. It's got 45% protein, which is what I was after. So yeah, so one of the bad things that happened in this fish room this week was obviously I moved 2 of my grow out Apistogramma cacatoides from this tank. So I moved the small male and the female. I left Aries in here. He's fine, he's doing great, he's enjoying the tank to be on his own, to be quite honest. And then I moved the female and the male to this little tank, this 20-gallon down here, 20-gallon long down here. And she wasn't doing too hot. He's fine. She wasn't doing too hot, so I pulled her back out and put her back in the big tank. And then I think the shock from moving her from tank to tank, from water parameters to water parameters, didn't do her very well, and she passed within a couple of days. He's fine. He's really stressed out, and he has been really stressed out since he's been in this tank. I think the lack of cover, and I think just being in the tank on his own hasn't really done him any good. So what I've been trying to do is I've got a little female that escaped the breeder box. It was on this tank, and she's in here. And I can't catch her out there. You can see her just now. So I'm trying to catch her out and move her into here with him, but it's just not. It's just every time I put the net in, because of the plants and everything, it's really hard to catch her. And I want to get her out because these two, the big guy at the back there and his new female, have been in super breeding form. And if I don't get her out soon, he's going to end up just killing her. And that's not something that I want. But this little girl, she doesn't take anything from him. Like, she gives him beef and like chases him around the tank and all sorts. So I'm really quite looking forward to trying to get her out and in here with him, because I think that they'll do well as a pair, and it will also like chill him out a bit. Like he just needs chilling out. I'm really enjoying this tank as well, by the way. Like I chose these plants just because I like the look of them, and they've all been growing really well. I've been dosing CO2 like just a pump, and it seems to be making them grow really well. And he does chill out when the lights are off, so I have been keeping the lights off on the bottom rack quite a lot recently, because you know, it's just been easier to keep the lights off, and he's been really chill. I think he's only really stressed out because the lights are off. So another thing this week was we had a really big clean out. So we had like a 6-monthly like deep clean every tank, clean all the filters, clean all the tanks, remove as much of the mold as possible from like the display tanks and stuff. It's obviously not possible to remove all of it, but like we really deep cleaned the tanks. We pulled a lot of snails from this tank that I'm stood in front of, and we put them in with the puffers, which I have decided to keep, and I'm going to do something different with their tank, which will be in a video that coming this week. So Apollo this week, like I said, him and Aphrodite did have a batch of fry that just didn't survive. my fault. My fault. I should have left him in there a bit longer. Chances are he would have eaten some more, but then some would have survived. So that kind of has its pluses and its negatives. So I obviously tried to artificially raise all of them rather than, and there was hundreds. There was about 200 in there, and I should have just left them and then maybe saved like 50 or 80. I haven't seen her for a couple of days either now, which means she's on eggs again, which is good. So when they hatch out, I'm gonna leave them and let them grow out in here for a couple of days before I pull them. So when I first see the fry and I first see them wriggling, so they were in this cave here, yeah, and I saw them wriggling out, and I thought, okay, cool, let's just pull them. So I pulled them straight away, and I should have just left them for a couple of days. And you know, that's what I did last time. I left them for a couple of days. I should have just stuck to what worked best for me last time. So we're going to do that this time when it happens again, because they're now. So they're now like regularly breeding, which is like once every 3 to 4 weeks. So obviously she fattens up, then she has the eggs, and then she lays them, and then he fertilizes them, and then they have to fry like 4 or 5 days afterwards. So the female betters this week, like I said, I had like a really good clean out this week, and I cleaned all the glass and all the surfaces and all the plants, and you know, I've decided to go down to feeding these guys once a day just because this tank was getting a bit out of control. Obviously the plants are growing great, which is fantastic, but I just don't think it was healthy for them to feed them that much. So once a day in the morning now, pellets, and that's it. That's what we're getting. They're not even getting frozen or live at the moment. Just trying to thin them down a little bit and get this tank a bit under control, because it was growing a lot of blue-green algae all along like the surfaces and on the back and stuff. So that's the plan to go forward with this, guys. Obviously the plan to Corey, he's still getting more than enough food at the bowl. So yeah, like I said, there's one McMaster fry now that survived. This little guy here. I'm gonna try and raise him up. Hopefully it's a male. And then we'll go from there with these guys. These two in there, they've been very, very, very on breeding activity recently. Hopefully, and it's been in this front cave this time, which is good, because last time it was at a back cave, and because of how deep this rack is, I didn't leave myself enough space to like kind of work at the back. It's very difficult to kind of work around that at the moment. So that's something that I've learned for the design of my next fish room, is kind of make sure it's easy to work in those spaces. So he's been, yeah, like I said, lots of breeding activity this week, which has been great. Hopefully we'll see some fry in the next few days. There she is. So over to Percy. He again has been growing like crazy. He's almost as big as Mars is in the next tank, which is like crazy for me, because he was literally like this big, about 3 months ago. And now look at the size of him, he's huge. These have actually got eggs in the tank, and I saw them. So she's just there, and the eggs are in that pot there. Hopefully me putting this camera in their face won't disturb them too much, because it's been the first Agassiz spawn that I've had. And I kind of, if it's anything like the others, where the first one doesn't particularly go that great, but you know, you manage to get one, like I have done for the McMaster, or 8, which will come back to these guys in a bit. Like I did for the Cacatoides, then that's kind of like what I'm looking for, and then I learn from my mistakes. And that's kind of what we're going to look to do. So yeah, otherwise he's been like full of life this week, which is a bit like weird, because sometimes he hides behind the others, but he's been literally right at the front most of the week. And I fed them some like blackworms yesterday, and he, I think that's what's kind of brought him out of his shell a little bit. He's full of life today. Okay, so an update on the rams. Will definitely has lost an eye. He's definitely lost an eye. He's still fine, and he's still living out his life in his tank, but he's 100% lost an eye. I don't think he's coming back. It's still really cloudy. It's been like 3 weeks now since we talked about it the first time, and I think this tank's too hot for the plants because even the Anubias is like melting in this tank. So I'm going to have to find some really like temperature, like some really hot temperature plants, in order to like get these to grow, because it's cycled and stuff and it's not causing any issues with the fish. But I think that's kind of could have been why Will's eye didn't particularly keel over when obviously she pecked at him. So there's something that I am looking at, and like I said, like, I've done a deep clean on all these tanks this week, and that's why they're all so clean. And like this, I've literally, like I said, I've been moving the snails from tanks into the pea buffer tank, which we'll see soon. But there's Will there. We'll see if he turns around and you can see his eye. I did a 50% change on all of the tanks today, so you know the fresh water hopefully will. I was thinking about putting some salt in here to kind of make him a little bit better, but we'll see. I'm going to give it another couple of days, and if he doesn't, then I might pull him out. I've got another breeder box coming, so I might put him on the front and just salt him in the breeder box and see if that does anything. But they've been having some like breeding behaviour as well, and they had some eggs laid on that terracotta pot there, but again she ate them. So we're just these guys have just been a nightmare trying to breed them, but we're going to keep going. And if this doesn't work out, I went to like a new shop the other day and they had some black devil rams, which were like actual black rams, and I'm thinking this tank will be good for a pair of black rams, and I want to try and breed them in Hertfordshire water so that they're hardy, so that we're not having to like RO water everything. And that's something that I have been doing, is gradually changing the water from, like I said, like the RO water that I use to now I use half and half tap and RO, but I obviously dechlorinate and I let the tap water, there we go, you can see his eye now. So it is still there, it's just really clouded over. So I'm hoping it will come back. And he can still move it, which is, you know. So yeah, like I was saying, like I've been trying to move it over to 50-50 water, which seems to be working fine. Like they're all fish are fine, and everything's like acclimatising to it nicely. But I've obviously been storing the tap water in the water butt and letting it air off for like 5 days before I use it, because like the water in this area also has like quite a lot of nitrogen in it. So yeah, you have to be careful with that, because obviously like, that's what I think when I first started this hobby killed off quite a lot of my fish, was I didn't realise like about nitrates and stuff like that in the tap water, which obviously the water companies use to keep the water clean. So moving on to the next tank, like I said, like there's a little Cacatoides female that escaped the breeder box when I had it on the front of this tank. She's there, and then I've obviously got my big Master Eye gold male at the back there. And I've got a regular Master Eye female in here now, obviously because she replaced the female that passed, because we know he murdered her. But these two seem to be getting a lot better, and she's actually in that pot there with some eggs, I think. We'll find out in a couple of days when she brings them out, if she brings them out or if she eats them. We'll find out though, and that's kind of where we're at with these guys. I really hope so, because it would be nice, but like I said, I need to get the little female out of this tank, because if there is fry in this tank and she starts to try and eat some, it obviously won't end very well for her, because he's a lot bigger than she is and the other female's a lot bigger than she is, and that's not something that I want to happen. So I literally just I've been trying to hook her out up here, into it, just trying to see if I can get some video of the breeding behaviour. So obviously she's like showing off, you see her breeding colours, and he's doing his headstand over there at the back. Hopefully, I don't know whether he's like getting really aggressive towards that little female there, which is entirely possible. He's trying to ward her off. Like I've said before, I'm trying to net that little girl out. I need to get her out. She needs to go in there. But yeah, this girl here, the breeding colours are crazy. Like, they are very close to what Venus's colours are in the tank directly above her. These tanks are a bit cooler as well on the bottom row, just because of the nature of the room, like, you know. So I was a bit like shocked that she took to him so quickly, but Obviously this tank's got a heater in it, that's why. In retrospect, what I should have done was put the rams higher, so that they got the heat. Oh, here we go. Like, like I was saying, like in retrospect, I should put the rams higher, because then they would have got warmer water, and I probably wouldn't have had to heat the tank. But we didn't manage to catch any of the breeding action, unfortunately. We might now. Here we go. Yeah, I love this size tank. Like, it's literally the perfect tank for breeding these guys. Right, we're going to try and net her out. So we were successful in netting that little girl out, and there they are, the pair together. And he's literally all up in her grill already. Like, you can see him showing off. It's really, he is really impressive for such a small male. And if you followed me on Instagram, you'll see the pictures of him when he was a baby, and obviously everyone thought he was a female, so I knew he was a male. So that's 1-0 to Adam. But yeah, so hopefully this little girl will settle in here nicely. He won't bully her too much until she gets big enough to breed, and then we'll go from there, because he's obviously considerably bigger than her. I'm going to put some more coconut huts in here soon as well, to give her a bit more cover, and some more almond leaves, because I think what they like about this tank so much and this tank so much is that there's a lot of detritus and a lot of almond leaf breakdown and stuff like that. So that's the plan. I'll give you an update on these two as a pair for next week. Okay, so after the failed breeding attempt of Hades, I put him back in his tank. He's been really happy in his tank. Like I said, it's had a big water change, and like it's getting completely cleaned out. There's no algae or any like mold or anything. Like I just had to give him like a nice clean to make him like happy. I'm trying to focus on him. You can't really see him because of the glare and the light, but trust me, when I tried to breed him with the females, I never really seen his shape or his colour, because he always like is dragging his fins in this tank. But when I saw what he actually looked like, it was very impressive. So we might try again. Might. It was a disaster, but we might try again. We'll see. Okay, the pea puffers. Again, like I said numerous times on numerous of these videos, all 4 of them now, I hate this tank. I hate it. I hate it. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely decided to keep them, because since I've been putting the snails in every day, they've been super fun. But they've been too aggressive, I think, to go into the main tank. And the problem with putting them in the main tank, if I put them in the main tank, is I won't be able to get them back out, because they're too small. I won't be able to come back out. And if they get too aggressive and they kill fish, that made me quite sad. I think she's going to go for a snail. Let's have a look. See? Been super fun watching them eat snails. Super fun. And these are the new guys. So these are the Lamprolagus ocelotus gold, shell dwellers. Like an acrylic top for this tank. Because like I said before, I had to cut a hole in this like pre-made kit. This was like the first tank that I ever got. I need to cut, like I said, I had to cut a hole in the top. This was like the first tank that I ever got. It's a pre-made kit with a pre-made top, and I had to cut the hole in order to make like my lights work. Because like I said, I like to centralise everything. So this is like one of my beams lights that I've got going on all over the fish room. So yeah. Their behaviour, like I could sit here and watch them all day. Like, it's so much fun, and actually, like, it's really interesting. I never really thought I'd like African cichlids. I like dwarf cichlids, that's my passion. But the African guys, I just thought were a bit like not out of my league, but like different. Because obviously, like I keep a lot of soft water fish, and these are hard water fish. So like when I do water changes, I obviously all the main tanks with Paro, but this I have to do with my tap water, because my tap water is like liquid rock. It's like super, super, super hard. And it's perfect for these guys because they live in super hard water. So this is actually the easiest tank I've got. I just have to make sure that it's dechlorinated in the water butt and it's gassed off for long enough. Like, that's just as simple as it is. Right? Because I wanted to make sure that it's safe for them. Low nitrates, like no chlorine, no chloramine, no nothing. I just want it to be just like pure water, and it takes a little time to do that. So just giving them that time is what it takes. I am going to look to breed these guys, but it's going to take a long time. Like, a lot of people, like a lot of the research and stuff I've said it can take up to like a year for them to get comfortable in your tank, and then it's going to take and that will be like when they're ready to breed. And so this is like a long term. And they might not even breed until we're in the new fish room, and they've got a bigger tank. I'm thinking, like I said, I might think about getting like a full long tank for these guys, and then we could have like 40 or 50 of them in there, and that would be so cool. So that's the plan anyway. We're just like you said, delving into these guys and seeing what's happened, and like just watching them and enjoying them. These aren't fish for breeding. These are fish for enjoying. These are just fish to just enjoy watching, and yeah, that's kind of why I got these guys. So these are the Cacatoides fry. Since they've moved into this tank, my god, they've been going like crazy. Look at this one. I think this is definitely a male. He's pretty chunky now. They're probably about 8 weeks old now. That's definitely a female. That one there. The ones with colour, I think, are definitely males. But I think I've got what looks like 4 males and 3 females. I'm going to keep the females because I need them for broodstock. So I need 2 for this guy here, and I need possibly 1 for here. But I don't know how that will go with the new fish that are coming on Sunday. So potentially 2 for here to go in with him, and maybe 1 more to go in with Apollo. But I don't want to break up their pairing because their pairing is working great, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I will be selling the males. If anybody wants one, you can contact me on Instagram, and I'll do you a price. They'll probably be quite cheap because my first go round, and I just want them gone. But that's kind of future. I don't want to get rid of these for at least another 6 weeks until I'm happy that they've grown enough to do well in other setups. And I want to be proud of the. I'm going to call them a product because it is a product. Like, you know, you're developing a line of fish that you're really proud of. So yeah, I want to develop a product that I'm proud of, and I can say, you know, you go somewhere and you say you got these from Adams Aquatics, and that's something to be proud of. And yeah, I've been quite happy with all of what's happened in the fish room this week, to be quite honest. Apart from the deaths, but you know, as we've discussed before, that happens. And yeah, like, I'm really excited for this week because I've got some really cool videos coming out, and I've got some really, really exciting new fish coming that I managed to secure from the shop that I went to on Sunday. So I want to give them a shout out in this video. So they're called Ely Exotics. It's a new shop, hasn't been open for very long, but the customer service that I got there was great, and the guy seems really like he knows his stuff and he knows what he's talking about. He had some really cool and interesting fish there. Black rams that were actually black rams. I got the Ocelotus Gold from there, and he secured some really cool fish that I've been looking for a long time, and I am really excited about. So if you do live in the Cambridge area, the Cambridgeshire area, Ely, I really highly suggest going and check him out. He obviously has like other things like spiders and stuff like that, which doesn't interest me because I'm like terrified of spiders, but you know, that's just, it's a really cool shop, and I can't tell you like how cool it is there. And the pump for the fish room was silent. Like, it makes my pump like, it's like a jackhammer in here, as you can all hear from my videos, but it was like silent in there. So I'm doing a lot of research into what I can do to kind of silence this, or get a new pump to make my videos better, or just to make my life a bit better, because it's really loud, and it sometimes it's just a bit much for me. But you know, that's the fish keeping life, and I enjoy this hobby so much. I can't even tell you. So as we're about to sign off, we can kind of see my L128 Pleco for the first time in a few weeks. He's definitely in there, he's definitely eating, definitely alive. I've seen him about, like, in the mornings when I come in and if I come in before the lights turn on and I turn the lights on, he swims off. So yeah, that sums up the going-ons in the fish room this week. I've been super excited with what's going on, and we'll have another video on Thursday. Not too sure what the topic's going to be yet. Might be a care guide, might be a how-to. Not really too sure. But yeah, if you've liked this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, and I shall see you next time.